people should be able Shit! I'm gonna have to fix that. This video's featured comment is brought to you by Shepard, who said, "Absolutely epic. More tutorials need done by this man. Everything from making muffins to shaving cats." Thanks for the comment. Guess I'll have to see if I can borrow a cat from someone. So be sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below for a chance for it to be featured in an episode of VideoGame OR. Now, on to the video. Hello and welcome back to the VideoGame OR, the series where we show you the process in repairing and restoring all things gaming. Today we have a Super Nintendo with a broken power port. To remedy this, we'll remove the old jack and install a new one. So without any further ado, let's begin the procedure. First we'll have to get into this unit, similarly to how I did with your mother last night, by using a Gambit screwdriver of course. Simply remove the 6 screws located underneath the console and be sure to store them safely within your favorite sock. Then remove the top half of the shell. With the top off, our next order of business is removing the ejection button. To do this, simply slide the retaining rod out and lift up. Be sure not to lose the spring, as doing so would leave you with a pretty limp eject button. Next, remove the controller ports by disconnecting the ribbon cable attached to the front of the motherboard. Do this gently, of course, as to not cause any damage to the ribbon cable. Then, using a Phillips screwdriver, work your way around the perimeter of the board, removing any screws in your way. Be sure to add those to the sock as well. With the motherboard out, let's shift our attention to the replacement power port. Now, you can find these pretty cheaply on eBay. A link to this one will be in the description if you're interested in this exact one. However, looking at the replacement, you can see the only leads present are for power and ground, and that's practically it for the replacement, so let's go ahead and get it installed into the system. To take out the old port, we'll have to remove a screw located on the underside of the motherboard and add it to the sock. Then you'll need to heat up the old soldering iron and get ready to suck. Now this solder is about 31 years old, so to help it cooperate a bit more during this process, we'll introduce some fresh solder to aid in the extraction. Now as these pads are a bit too big for the mouth of our sucker, we'll use some desoldering braid to remove excess solder. That way we can clear any solder left over in the vias. With most of the solder removed, carefully pull out the old power port, and do a bit of cleanup on the pads with some IPA. Then bring in the replacement port and slide it into the motherboard, making sure to line up the leads for the new port with the vias on the motherboard. Next, retrieve the small silver screw from the sock and insert it in the bottom of the power port. Then solder in the leads to the motherboard, and with that it's on to reassembly. Place the motherboard back into the bottom shell and work your way around the perimeter, replacing the screws. Note that the 2 long silver screws are meant for the cartridge slot. After the screws are in, reattach the controller port ribbon cable with the contacts facing upwards, followed by the power switch. Now the ejection button can be a bit tricky as it's spring-loaded. You'll have to get the longer leg of the spring into a hole located in the mount connected to the base shell, and the shorter leg into a lip on the ejection button itself. Once that's complete, put on the top shell and secure it in place with the security bit screws to wrap up this port replacement. And with that, you've successfully refurbished the power port on your Super Nintendo. So if you enjoyed, remember to leave a like and subscribe so that you don't miss anything new from the VideoGame OR. Also, feel free to leave a comment on what you want to see covered for a chance for it to be featured in the next episode. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.